If you clicked on this video, then I'm guessing you have kids headed back to school pretty soon. So it is time to get organized. I created a bunch of fun craft and DIY projects to help you get organized as we head back to school. And here's the really fun part. You can do several of these crafts with your child, depending on their age, and it can be a bonding experience as well as a way to get them involved and excited about going back to school. My name is Jenica, and I make videos designed to help you create a beautiful, functional, and fun home on a budget. I love and live by the principle of being resourceful and using what you have and making the most of it. You will find a lot of craft, decorating, organization, and DIY projects that are very budget friendly. If that sounds like something you're interested in, please hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Now, even though I don't have kids old enough yet to be in school, I was a teacher before Sage was born, so I feel like that gives me some credibility organizing kids in a way that's productive and conducive to creativity. And so one thing that I think could be really helpful in a home would be to create zones and stations throughout your home that help different activities and events that happen throughout the day run smoothly. So before we jump into our crafts and DIYs, let's talk about some of those zones. The first one I think of is like a drop zone, a place to put your backpacks, shoes, and things like that. Sometimes locker systems are the way people do it, but you could even just have a basket sitting on the ground in the garage or in the mudroom, just a place that's close to the exit where kids can throw their backpacks and their shoes and all that sort of thing. So if you don't have like a locker space like you see on Pinterest, you can simplify and just use baskets. Another really cool zone idea might be a food zone, specifically lunch and snack zone. If you are sending lunches with your child to school, then you're probably packaging lunches almost every day. So having a drawer or a cupboard where all of your lunch boxes, maybe you have meal prep containers or bento boxes, could live in this cupboard as well. When I was growing up, my dad would make me lunches with little notes in them. So you could even have like a little pad of paper and a pen if you want to add notes to your child's lunch. Next zone might be a homework zone. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. We'll make a little homework caddy later on in this video. A homework zone is kind of a space where your child has all the tools they need to complete their homework. Maybe that's glue sticks, scissors, pencils, markers. Kind of depends on their age and what they need. If your child is older, maybe it's just like a desk set up with a laptop, but it's creating a zone that's conducive to them being able to come home, tune in, get their homework done without you having to scramble to find all the supplies that they need. If you have little girls with long hair, you might want a little hair fixing zone where it's easy to access brushes, combs, hair products, bands, bobby pins, all those little things. You could use like a little caddy or storage organizers. Maybe it's just a drawer in the bathroom where those things are easy to find. It doesn't even have to live in the bathroom. If you like to fix your child's hair while they eat breakfast, then you could keep a little caddy or a little container in the kitchen with those supplies. So you think outside of the box, think what systems work for me and where should I place them in my home so that they make the most sense. Next zone is like a family command center or an organization zone. So this could include things like calendars and to-do lists, chore charts, routine charts, paper organizers, place to hang keys. This generally would be located somewhere where the whole family can see it and access it regularly. Another zone might be a creativity or decompression zone. So kids often go to school, come home, finish their homework, and then they're tired and they just want to maybe veg, maybe just spend time on screens. I know a lot of families are really trying to limit screen time, especially during the school week. And so having like a creativity zone where you have like art supplies, papers, any type of crafting that your child loves to do, or Legos maybe, just things that inspire their creativity and allow them to decompress. You could create a zone for that. We're going to create a little project later on called Better Than Screen Time that might help your child stay off screens and decompress in healthy ways after school. This just scratched the surface, so if you have other really effective zone ideas for your home going back to school and would like to share here with our community, please help out us other mamas and let us know in the comments below what kinds of zones do you create in in your home. All right, we are going to open up Canva for this first craft. If you have not used Canva, C-A-N-V-A, you are missing out. I use it for all of my crafting needs, and no, I'm not sponsored, but my dream one day would be to be sponsored by them because I stand by and believe in this brand so much. I use it for everything. I am making little tags here. So a lot of kids are asked, especially younger kids like preschool and kindergarten, are asked to label their items like backpacks, lunch boxes, even maybe jackets, and just different things like that. So we're creating little tags that you can add and label items as needed. You could also label things around the home. I created this tag using the Elements feature on Canva, and then I just added Sage's name on top. I cut those out and laminated them with my laminator. I chose to go with this sage green color because duh, Sage's name is Sage. I know on camera it looks like you can't read it. I think it's just the glare from my ring light, because in reality it looks really good in real life and you can totally read her name just fine. I then punched little holes in the tag and tied it on. Now I'm putting this tag onto our next project, which is a homework caddy. Now we talked about having a homework station earlier on in the video. This little caddy would be perfect for something like that. I grabbed it at the Dollar Tree, so it's very inexpensive, and I'm just filling it with supplies that a child might need, like markers, crayons, pencils, glue sticks, scissors, note cards. Now this is a fictional homework caddy. Sage is not old enough to use this yet, but I'm just showing you as an example of things you might include in it. Now if you wanted to go the extra mile, it might be fun to add little bookmarks or note cards that could help your child with their homework, or just add fun, positive encouragement. So I'm keeping mine pretty young, like preschool age. I made a months of the year reference sheet, also a shapes reference sheet, and I also just thought it would be fun to try making a SMART goal reference sheet. Obviously this is way beyond Sage right now. You could also do like something about a growth mindset. If your child's older, maybe you choose to do like a periodic table or something that can help them when they sit down to do their homework and refer to it often. It could also be used as a bookmark, but it would be so cute in the little caddy and just a fun way to help them out with their homework. You could also add just like a cute positive note telling them how much you love them and how proud you are of them, so that they can refer back to it anytime they need a little bit of encouragement. But I'm just using Canva to create that. You can also find stuff like this pre-made online, or even in Etsy shops if you didn't want to make your own, and then you could just print them. And then I'm laminating them and sticking them in this little homework caddy. You could also make these bigger, like posters, and display them if you have like a desk, a homework station, just to make it fun and colorful and educational and inspiring. Another fun homework station idea might be to create a bulletin board with your child and put up some of their goals. So not only could you put up like reference sheets like this, you could actually print off pictures that represent their goals and help remind them what they're working towards. I think it's so good for kids to have goals and things they're actively working on, as they're building that intrinsic motivation and finding the satisfaction that comes from doing hard things. This next project, I made this for Riley right before we got married, and he had this dream of having a big calendar up on his wall. He was in grad school at the time, and so just wanted a way to be organized. And so I got this giant acrylic board at the hardware store. You can find acrylic boards in all different sizes at the hardware store. And then I just used black skinny washi tape to create this grid, so it formed a calendar. And then I have like the days of the week here, and I have our last name, and then just a blank space for like planning and writing things down. You could customize this, so you could have like a section for meals or like a section for weekly to-dos. For all of these words, I used my Cricut to cut out vinyl. And in fact, this, I actually wanted to be in my handwriting. I wanted it to be custom. And so I wrote Peabody in Procreate on my iPad, and then I uploaded that into the Cricut design space and cut that out. And that's how I got our last name here. If you don't have a Cricut, you could totally use like stickers. You could even just write things in that you want to be more permanent with a wet erase marker, so that it doesn't rub off as easily. You can make it as simple or complicated as you want, but you can use dry erase markers on this to write on this calendar and organize everything. And it's also just really pretty. There is different hardware you can get to be able to hang something like this. But I wanted to share this in case you're interested in some kind of family command center. Buying these pre-made is pretty expensive. So this is a huge hack for saving money if you want a custom calendar. The place where I want to kind of build a family command center in this home, since we bought it, is just too small to hang this calendar. So I might try making like a smaller version or something. This next project is to help you stay organized as a mom. You might find yourself creating cards and giving cards throughout the school year, whether that's thank you cards, birthday cards, Christmas cards, teacher appreciation cards. And I've been needing to do this for a long time, so I thought I'd share it with you. I'm just going to create a little card organizer. Now I'm using this cute thrifted crate for that, but you can use something like a Pop-Tart box I found is the perfect size. You could paint it, cover it with paper, whatever you want. You could also just use any other container you have that works. And then I'm just going to keep this super simple and cut some cardstock to size and just write on them, label them with all of the different seasons and reasons I would give a card. So I have like a get well soon, a thank you, a thinking of you, a Christmas, a birthday section, just any section you can think of to create and give a card. It's nice to have these on hand and pre-made when the school year is busy and you just need one to grab. Grab your kiddos for this next project because this is one done better together. This is that project I hinted at earlier called Better Than Screen Time. So I just grabbed a jar, made a label on Canva. You could make one by hand if you wanted. I cut it out and taped it to the jar. Then I grabbed some popsicle sticks, and this is where your kids' input really comes in handy. The idea here is to create a list of activities that your child can do independently on a school night and have fun and spark creativity. So sit down with your child, make a list of things that sound fun and exciting to them. You could even call it a bucket list. And once you have that list, you can have them start writing it, or you could do it for them on popsicle sticks. And so on a school night when they are bored and wanting and begging for screen time, have them go to this jar, pick out an activity, and have them do it. And it should be something they can do, again, independently, because you might be very busy on a school night. I wrote down some ideas. Obviously depends on their age and capability, whether or not they can be independent at this, but you could do things like build a fairy house, build a Lego village, make dinner in the mud kitchen, fix my doll's hair, play with Play-Doh. If you try this activity with your child and they come up with some good ideas, drop them in the comments below to help inspire others working on this project. This next project is another fun one to do with your kiddos. We are making a chore chart. Now, if you search chore chart, there are so many fun ideas and different ways to go about this, but I'm making this one that's very interactive, good for younger children. And all I did was grab a box out of my crafting wood supplies. You can also find little boxes like this at the Dollar Tree, and then I'm just painting it. You can have your kid do this part. They can paint it with any design they want and have some creative freedom. This gets them kind of invested in the chore chart. After it's done being painted, I just went through and made a little diagram in Canva, and it just had different pictures for each chore, and I just made some up. Again, this is not something Sage will be using quite yet, so you can totally customize it to what works for you. You could even have your child draw pictures on the front of the box. Then what you're going to do is grab some clothespins and have your child start with the clothespins in the box at the beginning of the day, and then as they accomplish and check off each chore, they can put the clothespin on the image to cover it up, and this is kind of their way of physically saying, hey, I did this and I am done. And it's just a way for them to track and see what they should be doing each day. This particular chore chart is fun because it gets them invested, it gives them some buy-in. They helped make this, and so they might be more likely to want to participate and do it. Okay, this could potentially be another really fun DIY. So I have had this little drawer organizer for a few years. I think I got it on Amazon. I have seen people make like little clothing planners. So basically you would just add a tag for each day, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then you insert the outfit for the day for that child, and they can pick it out. They can do it themselves if they're old enough, or you could do it for them. I have also seen this done with those like hanging shoe organizers. There's a lot of different ways you could go about doing this. Even if you didn't have anything and didn't want to buy anything, you could just get a big box and make dividers similar to the card organizer that we made and insert the clothes by day, or use a bin for something like that as well. If there's something you need help organizing, comment down below, because this whole month I'm going to be making videos designed to help you get organized. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in more videos like this one, full of crafting, decorating, organization, and DIYs, this is your community. Also, once again, drop your comments below on what kind of organizational systems you need help with, so that we can create videos that help this community. Because chances are, if it's something you struggle with, it might be something someone else struggles with. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week in our next video.